I caught my wife cheating, and they blamed me for ruining their life. After a bitter divorce, I exposed their lies and won full custody of our kids. It all started about 5 years ago. I was happily married to Sarah for 10 years, with 2 beautiful kids, Tommy, 8, and Lisa, 6. We had a nice house in the suburbs, steady jobs, and what I thought was a rock-solid relationship. Boy, was I in for a rude awakening. I started noticing Sarah being secretive with her phone, working late more often, and generally being distant. At first, I chalked it up to stress from her new promotion. She'd recently become the VP of marketing at her company, and I figured the extra responsibilities were taking their toll. Being the supportive husband I thought I was, I picked up more slack around the house, took the kids to their activities, and tried to make things easier for her. But after a few months, things didn't improve. In fact, they got worse. Sarah started coming home later and later, sometimes not until after midnight. She'd brush off my concerns, saying she was working on a big project. She stopped wearing her wedding ring, claiming it was interfering with her typing. Red flags were popping up left and right, but I was in denial. Final straw came when I overheard Tommy asking Lisa why mommy calls her boss sweetie on the phone. That's when my gut instinct kicked into overdrive. Call it intuition or whatever, I knew something was seriously off. So I decided to do some digging. One night, when Sarah was in the shower, I borrowed her phone. My hands were shaking as I unlocked it. Thank God she never changed her passcode from Tommy's birthday. What I found made me want to puke. Hundreds of explicit messages between Sarah and her boss, Jack. Pictures that will haunt me forever. And not just a recent thing. This affair had been going on for months, almost since her promotion. I confronted Sarah that night after the kids were in bed. I half expected her to break down, apologize, beg for forgiveness. Instead, she went ballistic. She blamed me for being emotionally unavailable and claimed I drove her to cheat. According to her, I was so focused on the kids and my job that I neglected her needs. Can you believe that shit? I was busting my ass to support our family and pick up her slack, and somehow that made me the bad guy? But it got worse. The next day, Jack had the audacity to call me. This smug a-hole told me to be a man and let Sarah go if I really loved her. He said they were in love and planning a future together. When I asked about my kids, he had the nerve to say they'd be better off with him as a stepdad because he could provide more for them. I saw red. It took everything in me not to drive to his office and introduce his face to my fist. I was devastated. That devastation quickly turned to anger. These two a-holes thought they could walk all over me and play happy families with my kids? Hell no. It was time to fight fire with fire. First things first, I needed a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, but the biggest, baddest divorce attorney in town. I found Patricia the Barracuda Johnson, known for taking cheating spouses to the cleaners. When I told her my story, she grinned like a kid on Christmas morning. Patricia advised me to keep quiet about knowing the affair. Let them dig their own graves, she said. So I played dumb. I acted hurt and confused when Sarah asked for a divorce. Begged her to reconsider, to think of the kids. All the while, I was gathering evidence. Remember those messages I found? I made copies. Lots of copies. I also started recording our conversations, one-party consent state, baby. Sarah, thinking she had the upper hand, started getting careless. I got recordings of her admitting to the affair, saying she only wanted custody to hurt me, even discussing how to hide money from the divorce proceedings. But Sarah and Jack weren't going down without a fight. When they realized I wasn't just going to roll over, they got nasty. Sarah tried to paint me as an abusive husband to get full custody of the kids. She started telling our friends and family that I had anger issues, that she was afraid of me. Some people actually believed her bullshit. Jack even testified that he'd seen signs of abuse when Sarah came to work. Lying sacks of shit, both of them. They tried to use my past against me. I'd seen a therapist for depression a few years back after my dad died. According to them, this made me an unfit parent. The worst part was when they tried to turn my own parents against me. Sarah fed them some sob story about how she was trying to protect the kids from my volatile temper. For a hot minute, even my mom was doubting me. That hurt more than anything else. But I stood my ground. I knew the truth, and I had the evidence to back it up. Patricia was like a kid in a candy store with all the dirt I'd collected. We're not just going to win, she told me. We're going to destroy them. The divorce proceedings were brutal. Sarah and Jack tried every dirty trick in the book. They claimed I was alienating the kids from their mother. They tried to argue that Jack's higher salary meant he and Sarah could provide a better life for Tommy and Lisa. They even tried to claim that my late nights working, the ones where I was covering for Sarah's overtime, meant I was an absent father. But Patricia was a freaking genius. She meticulously built our case, painting a picture of a dedicated father who'd been betrayed and manipulated. When Sarah's lawyer tried to bring up my therapy sessions, Patricia turned it around, showing how I'd responsibly sought help during a difficult time. A sign of good parenting, not weakness. The turning point came when Patricia called Jack's wife to the stand. Turns out I wasn't the only one being cheated on. Jack's wife suspected something was up but didn't have proof. When she heard Sarah's name, something clicked. She testified about Jack's many late nights and suspicious behavior. Suddenly, Jack's credibility was shot. After that, it was like dominoes falling. Sarah's lies started unraveling. The judge wasn't buying her abuse claim, especially when confronted with evidence of her affair. Jack's testimony was discredited. Their whole house of cards came tumbling down. Final nail in the coffin was when Patricia played the recordings in court. Sarah's voice, clear as day, admitting to the affair and saying she wanted to screw me over in the divorce. I'll never forget the look on Sarah's face, a mix of shock, anger, and defeat. He knew it was over. After months of legal battles, the truth finally came out in court. Judge saw right through their bullshit. His final ruling was better than I could have hoped for. Not only did I get the divorce, but I also won full custody of Tommy and Lisa. Sarah got supervised visitation rights, and she had to pay AmITheA alimony. The cherry on top, the judge recommended an ethics investigation into Jack's conduct at work. The aftermath was sweet. Jack's wife, emboldened by the truth coming out, filed for divorce too. Their company launched an investigation and found out Jack had been misusing company funds to finance his affair with Sarah. They were both fired. Last I heard, Sarah and Jack tried to start a business together, some kind of marketing consultancy. But their reputations were shot, and it flopped spectacularly. Karma's a bitch, ain't it? Meanwhile, I'm doing great. First few months were tough, not gonna lie. Single parenting is no joke. Tommy and Lisa are resilient kids. We went to family therapy, worked through our issues, and came out stronger. They still see their mom, but they understand why things happened the way they did. I threw myself into being the best dad I could be. I coached Tommy's soccer team, never missed one of Lisa's dance recitals. At work, my boss was understanding about my situation and gave me some flexibility. I even got a promotion last year. The icing on the cake, I've started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but it feels good to know there are decent people out there. Emma, the kid's school counselor, has been especially supportive. Who knows where that might lead? Yesterday, I got a text from Sarah. I'm sorry for everything. Can we talk about increasing my visitation time with the kids? I replied, talk to my lawyer, and blocked her number. Sometimes, the high road is overrated. Life is good when justice prevails. If there's one thing I've learned from all this, it's that karma might take its sweet time, but it always delivers in the end.